course of mock conventions. And before I begin that, I'm going to tell you that during the course of these conventions right now, I may say some things or do some things that I wouldn't ordinarily do in a real convention or a real meeting, just in order to illustrate some of the points presented earlier. So don't take what I do too literally, that what I'm doing is right all the time. And the first thing is the precinct convention. That's what we're going to do first. And you have a sheet called Mock Convention Outline. So we're going to follow this. The first is the precinct convention.
It's in the back. I'll go in the back.
Okay. This should take about 15 minutes. And the way I'm thinking of doing this is we're going to pretend we're all in the same county. And we're going to call that some county, S-U-M county. You live in some county. I think it might work best if we say everyone sitting at this table is precinct 1, everybody at this is precinct 2, and everybody here is precinct 3. So imagine it is Tuesday, March 11th. I hereby call the precinct conventions of some county to order. Precinct 1, I'm appointing T. Finnegan as the precinct chair for this convention. Precinct 2, I'm going to appoint Robert Butler as the precinct chair for Precinct 2. The Precinct 3, I'm going to appoint Arthur Thomas as Precinct 3 precinct chair. Have your conventions.
Order!
Order!
We already had lunch.
Now you know how I call order. So you concluded your precinct conventions, sort of mostly, and so you now know how that goes. We're going to fast forward to Saturday, March 15th, and I have the rosters from your precinct conventions. So I hereby call the county convention of some county to order. The floor is open for convention chair. Nominations for convention. Okay, Jim Holder nominates me. Further nominations? Come on, please. No, it doesn't require a second. Somebody, come on.
I nominate Art.
There you go.
Arthur.
Okay. Order. Sergeant at Arms, move that man from the room. Now, Arthur, do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
He does. I got a sucker.
I want to nominate Kurt.
Kurt, do you accept the nomination?
I will accept the nomination.
All right, three-way race. The floor is still open for nominations.
I move the nominations, please.
That is in order. There is a second. Is there objection to closing nominations?
I object.
There is an objection. Good. That means we need to vote. All in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
Nay.
Call for admission to the House.
There you go. All right, yes, that's in order. All in favor of closing nominations, raise your hand, please. All opposed, raise your hand. Nominations are closed. So the nominees are me, Arthur, and Kurt. So we will have a minute for each person to introduce themselves.
Point of information.
Yes, sir?
Well, the vote rate is a vote a simple plurality or a majority?
Very good question. I am going to suggest to the body, it's your decision, I'm going to suggest approval voting, which means each person's name will be called out, including none of the above. You can vote for any of the candidates you approve of. If you vote for NOTA, you could not vote for any other candidate because it would not make sense to vote none of the above and then somebody above. That is the suggestion the chair is making to the body if you wish to use that method. So we will address that in a moment. Have I answered your question? He's not saying. I'm going to say that I answered your question. My name is
We have a
Pat.
ruling in the chair.
I am Pat Dixon, and I would like to be the convention chair because I'm handsome. Arthur?
If you want to have a really crazy, messy convention, then elect me.
Kurt?
Hi, my name is Kurt Hildebrand. I would like to be chairman of this convention because I made this cheat sheet and now I think I know what I'm doing.
Are there any questions for the candidates?
When you say messy,
Answer the question, Arthur.
I mean, it's going to go as bad as it possibly can.
Are there any other questions of the candidates?
Are we not party?
We will proceed to a vote. I am suggesting we use approval voting. Is that acceptable to the body? Is there any objection to using approval voting?
I object.
There is objection. So we will, the default, I believe, is one vote for, once you vote, you can't cast any further votes. Is that clear? So that is the default method unless there's a motion to adopt approval voting. So we will proceed with the one vote per candidate method. All right? All those.
Object.
Okay, you object.
I
You
motion
haven't
that
made
we
a
use
motion.
approval voting. I move that we use approval voting.
Okay. Now, I'm going to rule you out of order because you didn't raise your hand. I didn't recognize you. I recognize James.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. I would like
Now
to
he's
move
choosing
that we
his
use
words
approval
carefully,
voting.
isn't he?
I would like to move that we use approval voting.
The motion is in order. Is there a second? There is a second. Would you?
Objection.
Point of objection, that there is no such motion of point of objection, so I do not recognize that point. Would you like to speak in favor of your motion, James?
Yes. I would like to use approval voting because I think it would be interesting. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone to speak against the motion? Roger?
I object to the consideration of this motion for the fact that we've already voted on it.
We've already, I do not agree with that interpretation. I do not believe we have voted on this matter.
What did we vote on, whether that we defaulted back?
No, we voted on whether to close nomination, and I announced to the body that the default method is one person per candidate. There was no vote on that matter. Jim?
Point of inquiry.
Yes.
Explain approval voting and default voting?
Yeah, the method we would employ at this point, if this motion does not pass, is for each candidate, I will ask for votes. Once you cast those votes, you cannot cast votes for any other candidate. And we proceed through all three candidates, including no. Approval voting would be a method where you can vote for all candidates that you approve of. So if you like the first candidate, you can raise your hand. If you like the second candidate, you can raise your hand. If you don't like the third candidate, you don't have to raise your hand. If you vote for none of the above, you cannot vote for any of the other candidates. Is that clear? Okay. So the motion on the floor is to adopt approval voting. We'll presume we're done with discussion, so let's call the question. All those in favor of the motion to adopt approval voting say aye.
Well, point of order, point of order.
Yes,
Nobody got to speak against the motion, only someone got to speak for
I
it.
thought Roger, okay.
No, he
Is there
objected
someone
to
to speak in
consideration.
opposition to the motion? Yes, Kirk.
I actually just want to really briefly speak against the thing just because nobody else did, and I want to explain why I objected, which is to say that with approval voting, I find that the math gets weird. Where, you've got some people that vote for all three candidates. I don't know. It just seems weird. I think one man, one vote, one person, one woman, one vote is the way to go, and I've said my piece.
Here, here.
Okay. So without objection, we'll proceed to a vote. The motion is to adopt approval voting for the position of convention chair. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no.
Nay.
I roll it passes. And
Division.
there you go. There you go. Good man. All those in favor, raise your hands and keep them raised. This is the motion to adopt approval voting. And when I point to you, you will count off. So I'll start with James, you're one.
1,
2, 4, 5,
6.
7.
8.
The count is 8. Have all voted? 8 in favor. All opposed? Okay, it fails. Okay, I'm glad we did that. So we are going to adopt one person.
I move to reconsider vote.
I'm sorry?
I move to reconsider vote. Reconsider.
To reconsider.
Did
That
you vote yes
motion
or
is
no?
in order.
But then you voted yes or no? I voted no.
That motion is in order. Is there a second to reconsider the vote? It fails for lack of a second. So we will proceed with the votes for convention chair. All in favor?
I appeal from the chair's decision.
He's digging deep. That's good. You appeal which decision?
On your count of the vote. You did not count the nays.
That's correct.
So I have the vote on a ruling of the chair. I appeal from the chair's decision.
Okay, so it was my ruling that the motion to adopt approval voting failed, and you're appealing that ruling, correct?
Yes, that is what he's doing.
Yes, that's, I ruled that the motion failed to adopt approval voting.
I misunderstood. My apologies.
Okay, do you withdraw the appeal?
I withdraw.
Would you consider keeping the appeal? There you go, I like that. I like that. So there is a motion to appeal my ruling. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Would you like to speak to your...
I do not believe the chair counted the nay votes.
Okay.
Point of order,
Yes, sir.
is that, or point of inquiry, is that a decision of the chair, or is it just a matter of counting?
It is a decision of the chair to determine whether a motion passed or not in accordance with what we adopted. But let me just elaborate on this. When it's obvious to the chair what the decision of the body is, the chair can say, in my determination, it clearly failed or passed. And you can call division and call for a counting vote. Your appeal is about a ruling I made. So the only ruling I made was the motion failed. So I had you speak in favor. Did someone want to speak against overturning the decision? Yes, Kirk.
I'm going to use this time not to speak against, but just to elaborate on what's going on, which is to say, I think this motion is totally in order and appropriate because we had already called for division, which insisted on counting the vote, and you didn't do it anyway.
Yes.
I think we're in a good shape with this appeal.
Okay. Yes, sir.
If we vote for this
Mhm.
and it passes,
Yes.
do we go back to counting the nay votes, or do we re-vote, or what is?
It would be my ruling that we would revote to explicitly count the ayes and nays.
Yep.
Further questions? Okay, we will proceed to a vote on the ruling of the chair.
He's doing it now.
There was a motion to appeal. The way this is typically stated is you vote yes to uphold the ruling of the chair, you vote no to overturn the ruling of the chair. So if you vote yes, you're saying the motion by James failed and we proceed on. If you vote no, then you overturn my ruling and we would proceed to a counted vote again. Is that clear?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't follow on that.
Okay. So,
Dropping the rules here, sorry.
so the motion on the floor is whether to uphold my ruling. My ruling was James's motion failed. Okay? So if the yeses prevail, that means my ruling was upheld and we move on to the next order of business.
We vote yes
If you vote no, if the decision is no, then we will proceed to a counted vote of the yeses and nos on James's motion. Is that clear? Okay. No, I believe that is the proper way to do it. So, all in favor of upholding the chair's ruling that the motion by James failed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
It passes, therefore the ruling is upheld. We move on to the next order of business. So we will proceed to the vote for convention chair.
Point of order.
Point of order, yes.
I just wanted to point out that had to be, what, a 3/4 vote or something? It's a 2/3 vote, it's not a normal vote.
Appeal?
It's not a
Yes.
normal majority vote.
That's correct. An appeal is a 2/3.
I think it might be
No, I don't
3/4
think-
vote.
That's a majority. That's a majority.
Yeah, the appeal is a majority.
Oh,
Yeah, it's on my
Okay.
cheat sheet.
Now, we're running a little short of time, so we're going to proceed on with the vote for convention chair. All in favor of me for convention chair, raise your hand. And I'm going to count, starting here.
1,
2,
3. 4.
5,
6, 7.
8.
8 have all voted. I count 8. All in favor of Arthur, raise your hand. I'm going to start here.
1,
I think
2,
that's
3,
4.
5,
6,
7.
8,
9,
10.
Have all voted? 10. All in favor of Kurt, raise your hand. And you cannot have voted for anyone else. Go ahead, Arthur.
1,
2,
3.
4.
4. Have all voted? All in favor for none of the above. Start here.
1,
2.
3.
3. Arthur, you're the convention chair. Here you go.
I'd like to move to reconsider.
Yes.
Motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider.
Second.
All right, motion, does anyone have an objection?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, does anyone want to speak in favor?
I'm going to do it.
That's in order, unfortunately. Does anyone second?
Second.
Is anyone opposed?
I'm opposed.
Point of order.
We need to, can I speak in favor on my position?
Yeah, he has a point of order.
It's non-debatable.
Okay, we can't adjourn because we need to vote on the other officers and on who's going to go to the convention and do our business. So we haven't finished our business yet.
Yes. Well, I don't know, can I just say he can't do that?
He can't do what?
I mean, you can't adjourn.
It is.
It's in order.
It is in order.
It is in order.
Okay, you can choose not to recognize them, correct?
No, I don't think I.
No, it's
That
up
would
to
be.
the body to vote.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go to the vote. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. All against?
No.
Okay. That fails. And what we're doing?
Point of order, there was a motion to reconsider.
Yeah, motion to reconsider. Is anyone against? I mean, does anyone speak against that?
To reconsider what?
Reconsider
The chair.
His
the-
election
my
as chair.
election as chair.
Who did that?
The smart guy. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against?
No.
No.
Division.
All in favor, raise your hands.
Is this in favor? Are we doing it? Point of inquiry in favor?
What are we voting on?
Yeah, in favor.
Reconsideration.
Reconsideration, my nomination as chair. I mean, not my nomination, my election as chair.
Recall, government recall.
But
Yeah.
didn't you rule on this already?
No, I didn't
No.
yet.
Raise your hands again if you're in favor. Favor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Somebody who made a motion to adjourn.
Okay, can I? All against? Okay, that fails. What do you think I can do? Because I really want to get out.
Can he resign?
Oh, crap.
I've never seen
All right,
it.
well, will you help me?
You want,
You,
hey,
yeah. Can we let
Public
continue
regime.
because this is going to.
This is chair. I move to, I would like to move that we establish a parliamentarian and I nominate Pat for that position. To assist you.
Second.
Any objections? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay.
Voluntary now? Okay, very good.
Feel free to speak up.
Okay, so the next order of business is the secretary. The floor is open for nominations for secretary.
Nominations for secretary.
I nominate
No.
Do you accept the nomination?
No.
Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Tim, this gentleman here.
Okay, Tim, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Any other nominations?
I nominate Boyd.
Do you accept the nomination, Board? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to close nominations.
Second.
Any objections? All in favor?
Aye.
You said no objections.
Oh, okay, no,
Okay. So each person gets something.
Okay. Timothy, would you like to speak?
Absolutely. I've never been a secretary of anything in my life. I would be a horrible secretary. If you let me, you are guaranteed absolute and total failure.
The honest secretary.
I've never been a secretary before, but I will not be total failure.
My man.
Is there any objections?
Point
Proceed.
of inquiry. What's the duties of the secretary?
Take the minutes.
I'd like to speak in favor of Tim. He made us do some really dumb voting earlier, so I think that it's only just and fair that we make him be the secretary and have to take notes.
I'm going to rule you out of order since I didn't recognize you. Okay, with that objection, we're going to proceed directly to vote. All right. All in favor of Tim, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Boyd, say aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna rule that Boyd.
Point of order.
He has to rule for you.
Oh, yeah, no, all in favor of notice, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks. I'm gonna rule that Boyd won that.
Division.
All in favor of Tim?
We already did.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, all in favor of Boyd, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Tim wins. Select candidates for State Senate District 1. So I'm going to pick, was he want to volunteer? Heather or James?
Yes. Point of order down.
Point of order.
They filed paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just. That is not how it works.
Normally, they would have had to give you the candidate for nomination.
That's right.
Yes, yes. So, do we just go straight to elections? Oh, yes. 1 minute for Heather.
Excellent. Well, I will be short and to the point. The state senate here in Texas is quite an embarrassment. They regularly suspend the Constitution and have nothing but backroom deals, and I intend on exposing all of that while serving you in the state senate.
I think I would be good for state senate because I think Heather would do a horrible job, and there's no way you should vote for her. I'm going with the negative campaign here, so there's nothing good about her. And if you vote for her, then you're a bad person, so.
Does anyone want to speak for Doug?
I'll speak for Natalie Buck. Can I?
Richard Pryor had a
I'll
nomination.
speak for Noda.
Well, I'll pick Cass.
Noda because James and Heather both have terrible body odor.
Ad hominem attacks.
Out of order.
I want to speak for Noda.
Gil?
I totally agree with James, but I think he's equally, if we're not worse, incompetent.
All right, let's break him down. Okay. All right, we're going to proceed to a vote. All in favor of Heather, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of James, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Noda, say aye.
Aye.
Heather wins.
least offensive to the
Okay, so we're done with candidate nominations. We're going to elect our county chair now. Any nominations for county chair?
Arthur.
I nominate Robert Butler.
You're out of order, too. I recognize Robert Butler.
Arthur Thomas.
Okay. Yes, I accept, unfortunately. I recognize.
I'd like to nominate Mr. C.J. Grisham.
There you go, CJ Grisham.
For what?
County chair.
Oh, yeah. Does CJ accept?
Yes.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I move to close nominations.
Second.
I move to close nominations.
Objection?
Was there any second for that?
Second.
There was.
Oh, there was a second, okay. And you object, anyone to speak in favor of,
We already have all the people.
well, she was closing nominations, so,
That's not the-
oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, it's not?
That's true.
Never mind, I don't object to closing nominations, excuse me.
Oh, okay. All right, so, all in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
All against, nay.
Nay.
Okay. So that passes. So nominations are closed. Okay, all in favor,
No, it's.
oh, we gotta speak. Okay, I'll speak. I'll be as horrible a chair for the county as I am right now.
It's not a confidence.
CJ?
I think I'll make a great chair because I love sitting down.
You're here.
Does anyone want to speak for Noda?
This man is a gun-toting radical. He's a criminal. And he should not be representing us here in Sun County. We'd be better off with no one.
Okay. I'm bad enough too. Okay, we're gonna vote. All in favor of me, Arthur, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of CJ, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Noda?
Aye.
CJ wins, he's our county chair.
District delegates. Say the floor is open for nomination for District 1 delegates.
Oh, okay. Will you want to explain that?
Okay, we're going to presume, because we're running short on time, we're going to presume all the county officers have been elected. We're going to proceed to the nomination of delegates to the district convention first and then the state convention. So we'll presume that half the people in the, well, let's say that all the people at these two tables are in District 1, okay? And we're going to vote on who the delegates to the district convention are.
Nominations for district.
It's not nomination,
Point of
it's not a
inquiry?
motion. Just ask for a motion.
Okay.
Point of inquiry, how many delegates do we get per district convention?
There is no limit.
Excellent, thank you.
Is this for specific?
Just ask for a motion for delegates to the district convention.
Is there a motion for delegates to the district convention?
Mr. Chairman, I move that all members present be not elected delegates to the district.
Be not. You said not? I heard the word not.
As
Can you say it
I
again?
must be getting old and senile, I meant to say that they all be elected.
Is there a second? There's a second. Objections? Hear no objection.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Did that motion receive a second? I didn't hear it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any objection? Without objection?
Point of inquiry. Are the people that are not in that district eligible to vote on this question?
The answer is, I believe, yes. The answer is yes.
Why are they in, why are they in the district convention if they're not in the district?
So this is the county convention, and the county convention is going to determine who delegates are to the district convention. So his question was, is if someone
Oh,
is at the county convention, a delegate here,
They're in the
can
same
they
county
vote
with two
on,
different districts.
on this motion?
They can't put someone in.
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
And now we're going to,
State convention.
is there a motion to nominate delegates for the state, or
Select.
to select delegates for the state convention?
So moved.
So moved.
That's- Yeah, what is the motion?
Point of inquiry. How many delegates to the state convention does some county get?
We're not there yet.
Okay, let me just explain that. Each county has a limit to how many delegates they can send to the state convention. And I'm going to presume that our number said some county, SUM county, gets 10 delegates, okay?
Okay. So what's the motion? Do you want to have a motion?
I think the motion was to accept all the delegates present.
That was the past.
That was-
Or just convention?
Oh, excuse me.
District, yes. So does someone have a motion for delegate?
The motion would take nominations or suggestions of who would like to go.
Okay,
Second?
I second
Second.
okay. So the floor is open for nominations.
Well, any objections to that motion?
Oh,
I have a motion.
the student doesn't.
Need new parliamentarians.
Point of order.
I would like to make an amendment or subsidiary motion to that we ask the volunteers of people committed to go into the state convention to raise their hand and identify themselves.
If they're willing and able to
They're
go.
willing to volunteer.
I second.
Is there-
I second that.
Second. Any objections?
So you can proceed to him and ask people to raise their hand if they're going to register for the state convention.
Does anyone want to raise their hand to
Willing to
be a
volunteer.
delegate for the state convention? How many people? Okay, that's one. Okay. Does anyone want to put their hand?
So you addressed his motion, so you're back to the other motion about the nomination.
Okay. So hers was to nominate, okay,
To adopt the nomination
Okay.
process.
all right. Well, how do we go with that? Oh, we
Just
just
ask
asked
it.
for nominations. Are there nominations for?
Well, no, we need to vote on
I have a
her motion.
motion.
She wanted to open nominations.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Point of order. I believe the motion is to simply do what we would do without a motion, so why vote?
Her motion,
Out of order.
her motion is to open nominations. There are other methods for appointing delegates through motions.
Misunderstood again.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
perfect.
So all in favor, okay.
Subsidiary motion? Is there,
Call the original
action
question.
that it only committed volunteers be considered?
How do you determine that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to.
He's calling for the
Can you
question.
explain
You
that?
called the question over here.
I called the question, call the original question.
Okay, he was recognized, so we need to go to his first before we go back to yours, so.
I would ask that people that would commit to attending the state convention only be considered for nomination,
Okay.
so that we get our full representation at the convention.
You could.
That's, I'm gonna call that out of order, because I mean, how do you determine that?
So proceed to the motion over here. So she made the motion. Yeah,
Hang
call
on,
the
no,
question on
point of order,
nominations.
point of order.
Yes.
His motion's in order. He's amending.
You're appealing the role of the chair.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I'm appealing the ruling of the chair.
Okay. Any second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of filling the role of chair?
Aye.
All against? Okay, so his motion is,
Let's just call the question on his motion.
all in favor of nominating people that will commit to going to the convention, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Okay.
Passes. So we still have this motion over here. Because yours is going to apply after we nominate, correct? So,
Call the motion to,
there you go.
All right, so now that's the motion to nominate, so we're just gonna call for nominations. All in favor of calling for nominations, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Okay, it passes.
Point of inquiry. With the passing of this motion, do we assume that if the person accepts the nomination, they have been committed to attend the convention?
I would have to assume that, I don't know.
So now the floor is open for nominations.
Okay, floor is open nominations. Anyone have any nominations for state delegate?
I nominate myself.
Okay, James,
I nominate myself.
Kurt,
I nominate Warren.
okay,
nominate myself.
for who?
For board.
Oh, okay, out of order, you can't nominate staff member.
Give me a break.
Is that Mr. Chair, point of inquiry?
Laura?
Can we nominate any person who is not present in the room at this time?
If they were at the precinct convention and were a delegate, then yes.
Point of order. How are we gonna verify that they're committed to go when they're not here?
Because I say so. Any other nomination with?
Nominate myself.
Okay. I nominate myself.
I nominate Elmer T. Zilch.
Out of order. Yes, he's not on the precinct roster, that's out. Any other, how many more do we need? I nominate, I can't nominate.
We don't
I
know this.
nominate myself.
Oh, sorry.
I nominate myself.
Okay,
He might have been at the convention.
we need 5 more.
I nominate
Kurt?
I'll nominate Timothy here.
Okay, Gil?
I'll nominate myself.
Okay.
I refuse the nomination.
Okay.
He's out.
I nominate Jennifer.
Wait,
I
you already nominated himself.
He is in the precinct.
Point of inquiry. Can a person nominate more than one person?
Yes.
Laura?
I nominate Arthur Thomas.
Okay.
I nominate myself.
How many more? We need one more. Oh,
I nominate myself.
there you go.
I move to close nominate, may I be recognized? I move to close nominations.
I second
Second.
that.
Seconded. Is that a point of order?
No. I move to accept
Call the
by
question.
acclamation.
I think that's what,
I think his motion,
information, okay.
I think his motion is in order to approve by acclamation. All nominees.
Point of order.
Yes.
Same as the follow-up.
Yes.
Point of order. I couldn't help but overhear the parliamentarian's advice. And I just want to point out that we never actually voted on whether or not to close nominations yet before that motion happened.
And you asked if there was objection.
Strike two.
Is there any objection to closing nomination? Okay, no objection, so that passes. Nominations are closed. We're going to proceed to the vote.
James had, that was a
Well,
motion.
that was out of
James
order
did.
when you called it, so
Okay.
let's do it again.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
I move that we elect these delegates by acclamation.
Second.
Any objections?
Point of information,
Objection.
what's going on?
So,
What's explanation?
the effect of his motion, if his motion passes, then the 10 people who are nominated are the delegates. If it does not pass, then you have to vote on whether to accept those nominations, and it can be done in 10 votes or all at once. So he's,
You want it as a slate or individually voted?
yes, so that's the motion he has on the floor, is that clear?
Point of information. Did you not say in your acceptance speech that this would be a very messy convention?
Okay, that has been seconded. Any objections?
Objection.
So proceed to the vote.
Yeah, all in favor of the motion?
Point of order. If the motion fails, it only takes one objection to an acclamation vote.
That is correct. So his motion is for acclamation, however, the chair can, I believe it's in order for the chair to interpret that as if the body votes in favor of his motion, it still passes. Even though he asked for acclamation, it wasn't a requirement. That's the interpretation. If he's requiring, were you requiring everybody to vote yes in order for your motion to pass?
No.
Okay,
Mainly I wanted a voice vote, I guess.
yes. So proceed to a vote on his motion.
Was that no to no or no to yes?
Yes means
Don't
his
confuse
motion
the
passes,
issue.
which means all 10 people are nominated.
If his motion passes. All right, so all, you want to repeat that one more time?
A yes vote means his motion passes, which means all the 10 people who are nominated are state convention delegates. If no prevails, that means we would have to go to a voting procedure yet to be determined. And we're running a little short on time.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Passes.
Is there any business?
Yay, something accomplished. Is there any other business before the convention?
Move to adjourn.
I move
Second,
that the chairman,
Out of order.
He was recognized.
I move that the chairman be authorized to appoint substitute delegates for any of the 10 elected delegates that cannot attend the convention.
Move.
I'm going to interrupt with a point of inquiry, and I'm going to phrase my comment in the form of a question. Isn't it true that basically the state rules don't allow that?
I think so. So his motion would be out of order.
I'm going to rule the motion out of order.
Is there any further, any other pending business?
Any other pending business, James?
Have you recognized?
Yes.
I wanted to say that. Move to adjourn.
Second.
Point of inquiry, or information, what about the resolutions? Do they automatically get forward, or do we have to vote on them?
No, so if the motion to adjourn passes, those resolutions just die. If his motion fails, there is an opportunity to make a motion to have the convention adopt those resolutions. Is that clear?
So was there a second to adjourn?
Second.
I object. I object on the grounds that we have further business to conclude.
All right,
Whoa.
so I'm going to proceed to a vote. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All against adjournment, say nay.
Nay.
It fails.
Okay, there's the vision.
All in favor, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13. All against, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So we were adjourned.
So we're adjourned.
One point is, once we get done with nominating those delegates, if you have a resolution, you better get your hand up quick and get recognized, because if somebody, a motion to adjourn is always in order, so if they adjourn and you don't get to your business, you lost your chance. So that is the chance you had for getting those resolutions adopted by the convention here, to go to the state convention and say, some county has a resolution for the platform, okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
We have a few minutes. Were there any questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
So it would have been more appropriate for me to use a point of order when you didn't count the nays. That would have been more
Yes.
appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would have been.
Okay.
Yeah, because that happens sometimes. A chair may say, you know, it's obvious what the result is, but someone can say, not to me. So,
Well, if I'm sitting in the front row, I can't see what's going on.
yeah, an appeal applies to a ruling.
Okay.
So when you say, I appeal the ruling, what ruling?
Right.
It's counting the numbers isn't really a ruling,
Gotcha.
okay? Yes, Arthur?
I just want to be clear, the motions made at the precinct in the county that to go up to the state, resolutions, they don't automatically go on the agenda, they have to be brought forward by the delegates, right?
That's correct.
All the way up.
So between Tuesday, March 11th and Saturday, March 15th, if you wanted to try to circulate those resolutions to the county delegates, you can try to do that. Typically, there isn't time, so you may just want to show up early and have printed copies. And that happens a lot. When people walk in, here's a printed copy of please support me, okay? Because that way, if they don't know there's a resolution, they may vote to adjourn and not even know there's.
Are the delegates free to make a motion without?
Yes, yes. But the idea is if you have a precinct that voted, you got some kind of a block already in place. Yes?
Aren't these resolutions critical to determining issues and platforms that we're going to be using in the future?
They can be, but at a state convention, the platform can get amended on the spot with no notice. So typically, the idea of having a resolution come up is you have some support in place already. It's not, where the hell did this come from, okay?
About parliamentary procedure, I think there are more than 2 counties represented here, and I'm assuming you have monthly meetings. How many actually use parliamentary procedure at your meeting? No one.
At our business meetings.
You do?
Business meetings, but not discussion meetings.
Is there any way, anything that you guys can do from the state level to really encourage that?
We use parliamentary procedures, except we ignore parliamentary.
I think we've got a county handbook, we can talk a little bit about that, so we may address that a little bit, but run a little short on time. Go ahead.
I had a question about the subsidiary motions.
Yes, subsidiary?
Subsidiary. How deep can you go with those?
Oh, you can go deep. Oh, is that right?
2 levels. So if you have a motion and you amend it, and you can amend what you amended. So let's say, here's the main motion, I want to change these 3 words, and I want to insert this word, you can't get any further differences. Arthur, thank you so much for being our